I started my career as web application developer. I have more than 8 years of work experience in IT industry. Working in multinational corporations has given me the exposure to the world of global business processes. Though I have worked in IT domain, the kind of work experience I have gave me an opportunity to understand the importance of analytics as a backbone of any growing business. I grew so much interest in the field of analytics that I pursued a master's degree in data science and business analytics from UNC Charlotte. After completion of MS, I joined Genpact as a data analyst and engineer. I lead a data analytics team in investment management domain. I work on data analytics, data modeling, and data visualization.
Hello, everybody. This is Ritika Mitra. I am a data analyst working for Synapsys INC. After having completing my computer science engineering bachelor's degree, I worked in the world of information technology for 8 years in the banking domain and financial sector. While working in various applications which used various databases and technologies, I started growing interest in the world of information and data. My love for data led me to pursue and complete my Masters of Science in Data Science and Business Analytics from University of North Carolina, Charlotte. So I have been working in the banking and financial sector with various banking products like points redemption, loan management system, funds transfer, and HR employee data. So this would be my contact information if anybody of you wants to connect with me.
I would like to thank organizers for giving us the opportunity to present our idea. Ritika and I worked on several projects together and we found some common ideas, tips to make beautiful visualization. So why we have chosen this topic? Visualization was a nice to have skills a decade back, but it has been a must have skills for analysts, managers, and many other professions. Today, we are going to talk about some guidelines, some best practices to follow to make your data visualization more effective and insightful. Let's look at the picture. Think about a scenario. You are a regional sales manager and you ask your store managers what are Q3 numbers, and they, in reply, provide Excel files with all the details. I can imagine the pain to check the sales numbers for different stores, different product categories, and different products. It will not be very easy to check individual products which are not being sold enough, or specific days when some categories are sold least, which stores are not doing great as other stores, etc. So we have posted a poll question. I would like to see how many percentage of the time you present, like you are spending time to present or create data visualization at your workplace. So let's continue on that. Think about a scenario like we have already discussed about the scenario while the manager is presented with Excel. Instead, if the manager is presented with beautiful charts, a dashboard with these several charts, then it would be very easy for the manager to discuss to check to check the sales for different categories and etc. So why visualization? Why we use visualization? It allows user to quickly recognize patterns in the data and quickly helps user to consume information faster and more effective way. So in visualization, we are leveraging the iconic memory of any user and the viewer to quickly consume data. So it's proven to be effective representing information as driving complex analysis. So we have discussed about why visualization is important. While the power of data visualization does not need more explanation, it's very important for us to know how to utilize the power of it to make it more effective to tell a story. Here we'll discuss some basic guidelines to make your visualization more effective, actionable, and insightful. Before moving further, let me tell you data visualization can be of two types. One is exploratory, which allows viewer to explore data, and another is explanatory, which communicates insights quickly and clearly. Both are effective, but when they are used with the right audiences for the right reasons. So let's discuss about some guidelines and best practices. So think about a scenario where, hi Ritika, are you there?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we were discussing about types of visualization. So the first step of building effective visualization is asking the right question. Asking the right question is very important when you start building a visualization. Think about a scenario when an IT team of a company wanted to know how they are performing. That was the question they asked to the analyst team. And the analyst team made a beautiful chart for them. This is the chart. So this is a clustered bar graph. So here the blue line represents the number of tickets they have processed, and the orange line represents the number of tickets they received. So I think this chart is good enough to understand for the IT team, but the IT team manager was lost, and like he didn't know what actions to take after seeing this chart. So let's come to the next point. Refine your questions that you can act upon. That's very, very much important. So the analyst team came back with this chart. So is it more clear? Like, can we see the gap? The number of tickets that are received are not like they are not processing as much tickets as they are receiving. So the gap is increasing day by day. Now the manager knows what action to take. He can hire more employees, or he can manage the shifts accordingly so that the tickets are being looked at. So the tickets are being processed. So this is another example where you can refine your question that you can act upon to make it better and to make it actionable and insightful.
Very well explained, Kavita. So the thing is that 65% of the people are considered to be as visual learners. A picture is worth of 1,000 words, understandable and memorable. So data visualization allows you to quickly recognize the patterns, the trends, and the effective way of identifying the points or the items where you need to take action on. Like as explained by Kavita in the previous experimental visualization reports and charts, that for the manager case, you need to identify the pattern of where which will allow you to work on the areas which would need improvement. So moving on, I would like to explain you what kind of charts you should choose and on which kind of scenarios. For example, if you see here a pie chart. A pie chart can be like for various segmentation and categories, like you see here grocery, transport, utility bill, school fee. But on the same hand, you cannot explain a pie chart for more than 50 categories or rather 50 categories. So that's why you need to seek for the visualizations or the plots which would be effective for your business question. Moving on to the next part. For example, this is a business scenario where a manager wants to understand the expenses on all these categories for the last month, which I'm seeing in the left hand side, and for the present month, which we are seeing in the right hand side. So, do you think that this would be a probable very good explanation or a comparison chart? But when I explain it, it would be not so feasible for the manager to understand and compare the expenses for the last month and the present month from these two different segmented pie charts, correct? So why not we move on to the next slide and then see how the comparison is being maintained and shown depending on this columnar bar charts. So here you can compare all the categories which we have seen in the previous diagrams, in the previous pie charts, in a categorical manner. So where you see here in the blue part, it's for the last month, and the expenses for the this month is represented in the means of the orange color. So here we can compare each category depending on the expenses from the 2 months. So this would be a more feasible manner to show and to plot the distribution and any kind of business question for comparison.
So we have learned how to how to select a right chart for the right kind of scenario. So this on the flip side, you can see what charts not to select. So in the right hand side, you can see a pie chart with so many categories. As Ritika explained, pie chart is only useful when there are say 5, 6 categories, and it's not very useful for 50 or more categories. So this doesn't give us any insight, isn't it? So on the left hand side, you can see a 3D bar chart. So most of the data points are hidden behind other data points. So this is not useful as well. So we need to think about which chart to select before before we are going with any chart that looks good. But we need to select the chart intuitively that users are interested in. So also Ritika explained that like it should be in the chart should be intuitive, and it's a tool, it's a storytelling tool. It's an opportunity to convince the user it to chance to make convincing arguments. So we don't want to miss that opportunity by selecting the wrong chart for the wrong scenario.
So likewise, we need to select and observe on the correct charts, the tools what we are using currently. Like we have many tools, visualization tools in market right now, which would be giving you fantastic, dazzling charts with varieties of colors. But some of them are very complex, and you need to understand your audience. Based on that, you should go ahead with planning to build that kind of chart. So complex and very fantastic charts may not be your ultimate goal. And the charts should be selected based on the proper business question, and strategically it should be selected. For the next part, I want to bring on to you on the color of the chart. Kavita, can you please move? Yeah, thank you. So on the color charts, so colors are very good manner to represent the visualizations or whatever you are trying to portray from your business question. But your colors should be like the right thing and should be able to compare the scenarios properly. We should not overcrowd our charts with lots of colors, and which will like confuse your ultimate business stakeholders. And also, I want to bring on the notice for the color blindness criteria. So we should not ever use red and green color together, because that is very difficult for the colorblind people to understand the charts and differentiate the colors. Moving on to the next chart. Next slide, sorry. As we talked upon the correct charts, the correct way of the selection of charts, the correct color or the color themes which should be selected, I want to also speak on the choosing a chart depending on the data which is available to you. Like for example, I tried to put in a decision tree. So this is kind of a single and multiple variables. So your charts will vary accordingly. If it is a single value, you can go it with just one goal selection. If it is a multiple, then there are various kind of like criterias which you can depend your charts on, like relationship, composition, comparison, and distribution. For example, if we consider relationship, if you have just two variables, scatter plot will be a very good statistic and strategic comparison for just two variables. If you have three variables, you can go ahead with a bubble chart. For composition, if you are talking about a change in some kind of business scenario like sales or any share values, depending on particular time interval, then you can show it through an area chart. Pie charts, already we discussed upon some of the charts like in the previous slides. It's dependent on if you want to show 5 to 6 categories, then you can go ahead with the pie chart. If it is more than like there are many categories, then you should like seek for some other charts rather than pie charts. For if you want to have a comparison related data, for example, if you want to build on frequency comparison of the items sold in a grocery store, uh, so that kind of comparison, if you want to go ahead with, compare it with a bar chart. Then if it is a continuous data, you go with the line chart, and line chart is also useful if you want to compare the data through like a particular trend or timeline. And if you want to show both discontinuous and continuous data, go with the bar chart with the line chart. So it's a bar line chart. So likewise, if you want to have a distribution related data, if you have a distribution related data, go with the funnel chart when you want to show a process, like how the things are changing. And if you want to show a map related data, go with the geographical map, plotting all the zip codes and all the other data. If you want to show the statistical data, it would be best to go for a box plot, and you can identify the outliers as well also in a box plot. And if you want to show like if you have a hierarchical data, like what kind of employees are taking or under particular managers and all, if you have a grouping or like a hierarchical data, then you go with the heat map. So these are like the mostly common used visualizations which we use on day-to-day basis. So maybe this would be like a slide which will be helpful for you.
Absolutely, Ritika. So there is no rule book, I'd say, but you can follow some best practices and some guidelines to make your visualization more insightful. And you can always follow your intuition as well, and you can think from the audience's perspective. So that's another important factor. Let's come to the point: know your audience. So know from their audience, know from their perspective, from the viewer's perspective, what they're looking for, and what type of decisions do your viewer you want to make viewers, like what type of decisions your viewers can make from your chart. What information do they already have available? What additional information your charts can provide? And do they have to explore, do they have time or interest to explore from the interactive website, or do you design a one page handout that can be understood at a glance? So understand from the domain's perspective as well before working on exploratory data analysis. So let's think about it. I work on finance domain, investment banking domain. So in case of finance domain, time series analysis or forecasting visualization is very helpful. If you think about retail, then if you want to if you want to present the trends, how the sales are going high or low, then line chart would be helpful. So think from the domain's perspective as well. And most important thing, ask 4 questions to yourself: who, why, who, what, why, and how. Who are your audiences? What information are useful for them? Why the information is useful? And how you are trying to communicate to the user.
So here we thought of bringing you like the user perspective. So your chart should be able, or visualization, whatever, should be able to take the user input, because you never know. You have a certain business criteria, business requirement. Maybe there would be an updates in the business requirement after few days. So instead of doing the rework and building a new plot again to involve, like include new scenarios and all, just keep that aspect, so that the try to keep that aspect in your visualization, so that the user would be able to put their user input and then change the slides accordingly. For example, you are seeing an R Shiny visualization over here. This was for a fast food sales analysis. And I have like kept three tabs in the our Shiny visualization. So that would be a month-wise related data. So if you can see in the left-hand side, you can select the month, and you can also put the postal code and see the charts accordingly. So, for example, if a user is concentrated on 6111 postal code, you would be showing the top 10 items sold in that zip code. And if another user wants to see another zip code, then he would be able to select the drop down from this postal code, and the charts will accordingly show that kind of data to that particular user. Also, I have kept the location wise data. For example, there's a map data where you can select the geographical location, and it will be showing you the data accordingly. And this would also have the data tab. So accordingly, you can input the data and see the location wise and the month wise report. So as I discussed, like for the data, the user should be able to take the user input. I want to also extend that understanding on the metrics. So you should also concentrate on what kind of measures you are taking to guide the users to identify the key performance indicators in order to analyze the marketing and business efforts. So we should always think of the three S's like simple, standard, and scalable. So your visualizations, plots, and charts should be simple enough for any kind of audience. Maybe they are complex understanding, or they are like simple understanding. For example, you wouldn't show the same chart what you are showing to few of the students of a high school, rather than what you would be showing to some of the business stakeholders, right? So your charts would be like the simplicity of the charts should be defined in that manner, and your charts should be standard enough so that like you can understand the color difference or the criteria difference from your charts. And your charts should be scalable enough. Scalable in the sense, like I already discussed about taking user input, your visualizations or plots should be able to take or increase or decrease the scalability. For example, your business user are like providing your data for 50,000 records for a particular day. Next day they come and then they increase the data set by more 50,000 records. So your visualizations or plots you're building should be scalable enough to take that increase or decrease in the data.
Absolutely, Ritika. So we have talked about exploratory and explanatory visualization at the beginning of the presentation. Exploratory analysis is when viewers want to explore the data. They might want to dig deep into the data so that they find some interesting trends and patterns from the data. So there were some basic steps that we follow for exploration, starting from asking the right question and defining the question and choosing the right chart, etc. Now, when the exploration is done, now you want to communicate that exploration, that findings that you got from your exploration to the user. So it's now time to communicate, and you communicate through a story. So the storytelling, it has been my favorite topic so far, the storytelling with data. Storytelling is communicating clearly and effectively to the cross-functional partners of varying technical levels. So think about a scenario when an analyst made a report with several pages and there is no story to tie them together. It's very easy for your audience to say, the report looks great, but they will move on to something else and forget about the report. I'd say that would be failure as an analyst. Data without a story might not be interesting. A story can bring life to the data. We need to think about how we are leveraging that power while communicating with data. It's not about just showing the data, but rather articulating a story through voiceover or text to guide the audience to interpret the data. We shouldn't let the user keep guessing what the data might mean. Rather, we need to guide them to interpret the data the way it should be interpreted. So here we tried to cover some basic guidelines and best practices. I hope that would be helpful for you, for the participants. I thank all the participants for joining this presentation, and would like to take questions if you have any. Thank you.
Hey, Kavita and Rishit. Am I audible? Kavita, we do have one question. Is there a visual chart that is not recommended or should be avoided due to misleading information or wasting space?
That's very interesting question. So, like there is no such rule book, as I said, that you should avoid. But think from the audience's perspective. So sometimes pie charts are very misleading, as Ritika already explained. If you are comparing between segments, then do not use pie chart. If you are comparing, like if you have a scenario where you need to compare, like you need to compare between segments as a whole portion, like you want to show data for total revenue in different departments, then pie chart is useful. But you want to compare data from last month to this month and sales in different segments, that might not be useful. So that way. And also please avoid clustered bar chart if there are so many categories. Like you have three or more variables and there are so many categories, do not use clustered bar chart. That would be my advice to all data visualization developers.
Yeah, it at the end of the story, it always depends first on your business scenario or the question. So these pie charts and all, there are some rules, like as Kavita explained. Also, you should also concentrate on the colors. You need not put like lot of variety of colors in your visualizations. Just as much as what is needed for you to show the comparison or whatever is needed by the business or your end users.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Kavita and Rishit. There's one more question that Kerry has asked. What data visualization tools do you like best?
So I think all the visualization tools are great. I don't prefer one over another, but it depends on your personal choice. I worked on Tableau, I worked on R Shiny, and now I work on Power BI. So I would say Power BI is helpful for people who are comfortable with Excel. It has features more like Excel's, like DAX functions and all. But if you are a programmer, you want to make your own charts, build your own charts from your preferences, then R Shiny is good because you can customize your chart based on your preferences by coding. If you are a hardcore programmer, then go for that. And if you think you would go for more user-friendly visualization tool, then go for Tableau. It's very easy to use for everyone. And I personally don't have preferences for one over another. I'm okay with every tool. All are great.
You can also if you are programming in R and Python, you can use visualizations through R and Python as well by using the packages. So it's not like you need to know a specific tool. If you have the idea, then I would say like it's easy for you to use any kind of tool.
So I'll tell you my experience. I work on data visualization. So what I do is I first take the user requirements from the user and prepare a mock-up screen, and then go to review meeting with the user and collect feedbacks from them. So when I built, before starting building the actual visualization dashboard, it's very important to know the user's requirements, and building mockup screen helps with that. And also we have repetitive interactive meetings with users so that we know their changes in requirements, so that we don't have to like invest more time in building something that is not useful at all to the user. So that way, so always have discussion with your user, with your viewers, or with your audiences before starting building the entire thing. Ritika, you want to add anything?
Just yeah, of course, business requirements are very important before just diving into for building the charts. And it's not, you're absolutely correct. It's not just one meeting you would need, it's always repetitive meetings. And whenever you have more than one stakeholders, then of course you need to have combined meetings so as to see that everybody is on the same page. So it will like reduce a lot of rework, I would say, for any kind of project.
Yeah.
And the tools, I have already mentioned that tools, I don't think tools matter a lot. If you have the idea and the complex and the understanding of the complexity of the business users, you can go ahead with any tool whatever your organization is good with. Basically it depends on the the contract and the money, how much your organization wants to spend on. And the third thing I want to bring in on, if you are if you are dealing with the sharing also for the data visualizations, like after the building, how it would be shared to other teams and all. So I would say that security and privacy concerns should always be kept in mind. Like what kind of data are you sharing? Specifically, if you are working on the banking and the financial sector, you should have privacy regulations for your organizations. So basically, that would be kept in should be kept in mind before sharing your data with any end user.
Absolutely, Ritika. So my suggestion would be show the trends. Don't just label the data if that data is very confidential. So you can always show the trends. Data must be kept hidden in that case. Yeah. And also the visualization that differs if you are working on industry, what I just discussed, like you have to have users meetings with users. But if you are building visualization for academic purpose, you have done a research, and you want to show the research results to somebody who is interested, then in that case the user meeting and user feedback would not be possible, I think. But in that case, use your intuition, like for the general audience, who your audience is. Like, is the audience expert in industry, or is the audience common people who doesn't have much idea about the industry, the domain you are working on, or the user doesn't have much idea about data visualization? Then if you are presenting your data to common audience, then make that simple and make that story on top of the data. Make a story, make a plot, what the background, and then what's your question, what you are trying to solve, and the solution and the conclusion, like that way. So in academic purpose, the data visualization procedure would be completely different than what we are talking about in the what we are doing in the industry. Uh, do we have more questions, Nikita?
That's it on the chat, Kabita.
Okay.
And we do have the poll results showing up.
Okay.
Yep.
So I see most of the people are in the data visualization perspective. Most of the people are using it 10 to 15%. and some are using less than 5%. But I can see most of the people are using visualization at least sometimes. So as I said, it has been a must-have skills for many professions nowadays. And it's really useful skill. Like I think forget about data analytics or data science. In any segment, in any industry, if you want to communicate your ideas, your results to the user or to someone specific, you need to have visualization skills so that you communicate effectively, like, and also like you make convincing argument with your data, on top of that with a story.
We do have one more question, Kavita. Um, where can I find the data visualization selection map from the presentation? I think, do we go back to the presentation?
Yeah.
So, Nikita, one quick question. So, would this presentation be shared with all the attendees?
I think it would be up on the VOA app in like 1 or 2 days.
Okay, okay, that would be helpful then for everybody. So, was there any specific question on this chart, or it was just the slide?
Zion, do you want to ask the question directly? Was there any specific question, or you just wanted to see it?
I just wanted to take a closer look at it, but I don't think I have any questions as of now.
Okay, sure.
Thanks, Zion.
We'll be here for another 4 minutes. If audiences have any questions, would like to take that question.
Yep. And I would like to just take this opportunity to thank everybody who has joined this session. And special thanks to Kavita and Ritika for sharing this PPT and sparing your knowledge to all of us and helping us to learn more about visualization.
That's our pleasure. Thank you, Nikita.
That's my pleasure.
We do have one more question. Are there any additional resources you recommend for learning more about data visualizations?
So there are tons of resources you would get online. I would say, like for each of the visualization tool, go to their particular website and then go through the documentation part. You will get to know 90% from the documentation what is provided there. Like our Shiny, you will get most of the details of whatever you want. You can go through the documentation and build up your charts like that. And for additional, for examples or any additional scenarios, there are always other YouTube videos you can go through. And if you have any specific question, you can reach out to us. We would surely try to help you out.
Yeah, thanks, Ritika. And that's a great question. So, in my opinion, like the best way to learn anything is getting your hands dirty on it. So, if you want to learn any particular visualization tool, go to the website, as Ritika said, go to the documentation of the tool and in the website, and start doing it. Start building a visualization. Think about a scenario that, like, think about a scenario which for which visualization can be useful, and start building the scenario. Personally, when I learned Power BI, I downloaded some sample data from online for financial domain. I downloaded some sample data and started making some charts. So I learned it by myself by doing it. So that's my advice to all of you.
Yeah, and all the tools would have some sample data set built in, like inside the tools. So you can start using that, learn from it, and there are like various open sources, data sources. Then you can try on those data.
All right, I think we've reached our time. It's 12 o'clock. So if you have any questions, please do reach out to Kavita and Ritika. Would you like to put in your email IDs in the chat so that anybody can
Yeah,
reach out to you?
Sure.
I will put in your LinkedIn links again over here. Thank you so much, everyone.
sure. Thank you. Thank you all for joining again.